Good morning and welcome to my workshop from Setback to Stability. This is a financial empowerment workshop where you're going to get information that will help you stabilize your financial situation. Before we get started, I want to check in and see where you guys are coming from. So please jump on the comment section and tell me where you're watching me from. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. And I'm so happy that many of you have registered to join us today. I know I got registrations from Dallas and Ohio and all around the Maryland area. So hop on the comment and let me know where you are watching me from, because I really appreciate you. I appreciate you watching, and I also appreciate your support. So jump on there. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Constance Howard. I'm an executive coach, and I help women who have confidence issues, whether it's dealing with the imposter syndrome or limiting beliefs or self doubt. But today I'm coming to you as someone who has friends, colleagues, and relatives who are federal workers. And to say that they've had a tough time in the past 6 months would be an understatement. They recently went through a 40 plus day um, a 40 plus day furlough with no money coming in, right? And then before that, federal departments, several of them were just abolished, and many workers were called in and their jobs were abruptly terminated. So they've had a tough time making ends meet. And recently in my congregation, the pastor told us that 75% of the congregation was made up of federal workers. And he said they need our thoughts and prayers. And I wanted to put action with my prayers. And so I started thinking about this workshop. And I contacted people who I knew had really great information. And everybody I contacted, let me tell you, they raised their hand and said, I'm in. I'm all in. And so here we are today. This workshop is no BS, no fluff, and no selling. We are here to give you information that will help you if you are going through financial challenges. It's divided into three parts. The first part is dedicated to what do I do now? Because my house is on fire, right? So we're going to give you information, step-by-step information that will help you there. The second part is dedicated to where do I go for resources, right? And how do I find alternative jobs? How do I find something that will help me right now make ends meet? And the last part deals with your emotional, physical, and mental well-being, because I think that's a critical component when you're going through a very difficult time. So if you don't have paper and pen, grab it now, because we're going to take off here in just a couple of seconds. Let's see. Oops. All right. Our first guest is Michelle Green. Now, let me tell you something. She is a powerhouse. I had her on my YouTube channel before, and everybody talks about the information that she provided them. She has been in the financial education business for decades. She is a respected entrepreneur. She founded Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Kingdom Builders Community Development Corporation, and Kingdom Builders Business University. Her passion and her mission is to provide people with information and tools and the confidence that they need to get their finances on track and to build generational wealth. So get ready, because she's going to bring it. Joining me now is Michelle Green. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Constance, how are you
I'm
doing?
doing great. I can't talk about you enough, because I just remember when you were on before, and everybody still talks about the stuff that the information that you provided. So I'm going to jump
Wow.
right in. I'm
Thank
jumping
you.
right in.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. Yes, yes, I am.
Great. Okay, so let's say that my house is on fire, right? My financial house is on fire. You know what it's like. It's people have had no money coming in, didn't know where to make ends meet. What are the three steps that I need to do now to stabilize my situation?
Well, for one, let's not panic. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
not panic. Let's understand that this is not the first time that this has happened. This is something that has been a repeat for years and years and years.
Mhm.
And just so happened, it may have fallen in your lap today. So don't panic. That's the first thing. The second thing that we want to do when our houses are on fire is just think about, let's collectively look at exactly what we have at hand. What are the utilities that are major components of how we live every day? And what is it that we are supposed to do with those things? Things such as if we are renting, if we have a mortgage. Now, the difference between having a rental property and a mortgage is a
Mhm.
huge difference. A huge difference. And what am I saying? If you have a mortgage, you have the opportunity to delay your payment. If you have rental property, that's a whole different situation. You got to make sure that something is paid towards a rental property. So if you're
Mhm.
leasing, if you're renting, that's going to be the first priority because you got to have a place to live, right?
Mhm.
So any
Mhm.
monies that you are receiving, even if it's on a small amount, my suggestion would be to start putting away the $25, the $50. And I understand you still got to eat, you still got to put gas in the car to get around. The kids still got to go to school. However, when we focus on our house being on fire, even though we focus on it in a calm state of mind, our first priority is making sure we secure the place that we live if we are renting. If
Mhm.
we have a mortgage, did you know that you can delay your mortgage anywhere from 6 to 12 months? So I want you to just breathe for a second and know that that is the solution for people who are actually in a mortgage. Now, the next thing is let's look at the priorities of our basic living expenses. So we look at, do you need to keep the lights on? Do you have water? Do you have sewage? What are the things that have to be paid before you look at the things that are on your credit? Because I'm a credit financial advisor as well as, dealing with credit and finances all together as a whole and business. So I have to look at three different aspects: the finances, which are the basic utilities, the things that I absolutely have to have. Then I look at the credit because the credit sometimes can, go away. They can be extended, is what I'm saying. So when we look at the credit part, the credit can also be delayed because did you know that when a charge off happens on your credit, that it takes literally 6 months before, that's 180 days before a creditor legally by federal law can charge off or write off your accounts. So being that we haven't actually exceeded the full 6 months yet, maybe what we are about 2 3 months in, so you still have time to take care of the things that are on your credit. That's why I said there's a big difference between utilities and the things that are on our credit. So I don't want you to panic. Like I said, just know that the things that you have to take care of, the things that are urgent and about to be turned off right now, are your main focus. You want to clearly focus on the things that are being turned off immediately. That is the key.
That was my next question to you. What bills do I need to pay attention to? I know in the Maryland area that there are some things that can't be turned off, like your water cannot be turned off if you're a federal worker going through this, going through a furlough situation. But what else can we? What should we pay right away? Like, what do we need to
Absolutely.
squirrel away money for? Because, people were trying to squirrel away money for food. They were trying to squirrel away money for, electricity, for heat, and all of that kind of stuff. So what do they need to make sure they pay upfront?
Well, they definitely need to make sure they secure the housing. The next thing would to secure the lights, the water. And if you're in the Maryland area, of course, you don't have to worry about that. The next thing you want to look at is what are the necessities? Do you have enough food? You want to start buying in a little bit of a bulk, not a massive bulk like going to Sam's or Costco or wherever, but you want to start putting away things that will be a component of a large lump sum that you can extend over time. Back in the day, my grandmother, when she would go to the garden or she would go to the grocery store, she would always buy like packages of meat, and she would always buy like things that would last for a long period of time. So what we have to do is go back to the old days, and we have to really begin to look at preparing the food, preparing the things that we need over the things that we want. I know it seems like the things that you say that you want, the things that you say that you need are necessities, but things like birthdays and holidays and even Christmas right now is not a necessity when it comes to a situation like we've been in. So,
Mhm.
whenever the government shuts down or whenever things start to like dry up and there is lack in your household, you want to focus on just the bare necessities. What does it take in order for you to live? Let's not worry about the clothes. Let's be content with the clothes that we have. Let's not worry so much about, the holiday season and what's going on around you, because this is just a marketing tool that recycles every single year, every single 12 months. So we don't want to just get totally overwhelmed with what's going on around us. We want to look at the things that we have to take care of in our own household.
That's a very good point because as a holiday season, we're in the middle of the holiday season. And I think a lot of people think, well, I just want to give, my children a little something. So they take the kind of little money they have and they use their credit or whatever to get a little thing. And then, that little thing, um, I just lost you, I think.
Okay, we're back.
Okay. The little thing turns into a big thing, and then here we are, right? We are um, adding more to our credit debt. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the common financial mistakes that people make when they are in a crisis situation?
Okay, some common financial mistakes that people make is running up their credit cards. That's number
What?
one. Going
Okay.
out and extending lines of credit. Can you hear
I
me?
don't. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, I can see myself. I don't know if you can see me out there, guys, but I'm
Okay.
here. Let's.
All right, I'm going to keep me on stage so people will see me while you talk. Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right.
Mhm.
So what I was saying is that the things that we want to focus on is making sure that we have, as far as credit goes, as far as finances goes, we take care of all the necessities first, and then we go into credit. Now, when it comes to credit, we want to understand that our common mistake is running up our credit cards. So the credit
Mhm,
cards are
mhm,
usually maxed out. Number one, the way that you understand credit is that you only have a loan and a card of some kind. So you could have a credit card or a department store card, but even though you have a department store card or a credit card, they both work the same way. They are there are three components that you need to pay attention to when it comes to the credit card. So the first component of a credit card is that you never ever want to pay the credit card down to zero. The second component is that you never ever want to go over 30% because credit cards are not there for emergency purposes. You should have had some type of savings or some type of investment, a 401k plan, something, a pension plan, a retirement plan, something
mhm,
that you should have had saved along the way that would have allowed you to be able to pull from that in case of an emergency instead of using your credit, because credit cards are there to maintain and improve your credit, not for you to use in the event of an emergency. So that is one of the number one issues that people have whenever they are dealing with a financial crisis.
mhm.
Number
You
one
know,
issue.
That's interesting that you said credit cards are not there for a crisis, because I think many of us believe that that's why I have a credit card. That's why I have, I want to pay off my Visa or MasterCard, because when I get in trouble, I know I'll have that.
Right, absolutely. That is exactly what most people do. And that is not the solution, because what's going to happen 6 months down the road, if you are maxing out that card and you can't go back and get a handle on making those payments, because now you have gone from a $35 monthly payment to a $200 monthly payment, and
Mhm,
that's per credit card.
mhm,
Now you are putting yourself in a situation where not only was your credit halfway decent or over 700, then now you're going to a 500 credit score, because every time you go over that 30% mark, you are dropping your credit score over 50 points
wow.
per credit card. Okay. And the
Mhm,
biggest part about a credit card is that you have to be able to use it, because that's the way that they determine your credit. Your credit is determined based on the fact that you're able to pay it down and charge it back up. Remember, I said never ever pay the card down to zero. So
mhm,
if you are charging it up and you're paying it down to maybe about $10 every time that you make the payment, you pay it back down, you don't pay it
mhm,
off, then you have the 50 points that you would have lost if you're going over the 30%. So per card, you can literally gain 50 points. But this is the biggest mistake that people make. The second mistake that they make is when they don't use their credit cards, in addition to the cards, they are also going and getting these buy now, pay later type opportunities with
mhm,
a loan of some kind. So let's say that they do want to go out and get Christmas, even though they've been in this situation. They are just so determined, because this is the traditional thing that we do, is we are so accustomed to every 30 days some type of event that's happening, whether it's a birthday, a holiday, some
mhm,
type of special occasion, and we get engaged. So we decide that it is a priority for us to be at that birthday party, that Christmas party. It is a priority for us to be there, or to take care of the responsibilities, instead of allowing time to pass where we can get back in the position where we can work and earn the money.
mhm,
Instead, we go and borrow the money. So
mhm,
now we're getting in debt in two different ways. We're getting in debt with credit, with the credit cards, and we're getting in debt with credit with the loans, the personal loans that we go and borrow, and especially the loans that are what we call alternative credit.
mhm,
Alternative credit is the buy now, pay later. It is the quick option. It is
mhm,
the creditor or lender that is allowing you to go and obtain credit, even though you know that this isn't necessarily the right thing to do, but you're doing it because it's the only thing that is being offered to you. But
mhm,
that is a huge mistake to make whenever there is a crisis in your household.
mhm, mhm. Yes, I can see how that it's like a snowball, you
It
know?
is.
And you're going
It-
downhill fast, because this last shutdown was 43, 44 days, and we're looking at another possible shutdown.
Exactly, exactly. So we don't want to, engage into building up a whole lot of loans. That the biggest mistake overall, Constance, is that we don't really consider the fact that we have to pay this debt back.
Mhm,
Okay, so whatever we have, whether it's a credit card, a department store card, or a personal loan, or a student loan, even deciding that we're going to go back to school and we're going to depend on the student loan money that's coming through, instead of us actually going out and getting a job that's going to pay enough to take care of all of the things that we have accrued over time. We
mhm,
really don't focus on the payoff. So I know that we have been in a crisis, but whenever you're in a crisis, it's not to panic. It's for us to really begin to analyze, what do I have? So we need to literally write out our utilities. What are the things that you cannot live without? You
mhm,
cannot live without food. You cannot live without shelter. You know you got to have electricity. You know you have to probably have streaming services, but you
mhm.
don't necessarily have to have Netflix, okay? you
Oh, you getting into rough territory now.
Entertainment is not a necessity, okay?
Right.
So if we're looking at all of the little things that we do, that's maybe $10 or $20 a month, we can eliminate those things and focus more on the absolute necessity. And then once we write all of the utilities down and the things that we absolutely cannot live without, then we go over to the credit side and let's analyze, what is my total payoff? How quickly have I been paying my debt down? See, what people don't realize nowadays is that when it pertains to credit, credit is something that they are changing the industry of credit and how they determine who's going to get approved for what. And
Mhm,
that determination is based off of how well can you prove to a lender or creditor that you
mhm,
can pay them back?
mhm,
How
mhm.
quickly can you prove to them that you don't need their money? So, with that being in mind,
Right,
we
right.
don't really think about it from that angle. We think about it from our angle. Okay, you need to feel sorry for me because I've been in this situation. Listen, it's okay for 24 hours for you to have a downtime. And even the 40 days that the government has been shut down, it's okay for you to have
Right.
cried and mourned and, oh,
Mhm,
woe is me type
mhm,
moment. But now
mhm,
we're at a place where we need to bounce back and we don't need to become accustomed to this is the way it's just going to be. We need to let go of how things have been and we need to really begin to think about, how can I earn a living? There are four ways for us to earn a living in this world. And that is for us to either be an employee, for us to be self employed, for us to be a business owner, or for us to be an investor. So if you're
mhm,
trying to climb up the ladder of having the proper income that's going to take care of the things that are on your credit, once you write down everything, order your credit reports. Annualcreditreport.com is
mhm,
where you can go to
mhm,
get your credit reports. And once you get those credit reports, guess what? Then take a list, get a piece of notebook paper and write down all of your loans, all of
mhm,
your credit cards, all of your department store
mhm,
cards, all of
mhm,
your car payments, all of your mortgages if you have it, all of your student loans. Let's get a total of everything that you owe. And now let's decide on how we're going to make payments on everything that we owe. So a breakdown is not to worry about the things that are closed. The
mhm.
things that are closed on your credit, don't worry about that. That's already spilt milk. Go ahead and go to our website. That's www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com. And we can help you with the things that are closed, charged off, or in collections.
Mhm.
But for your focal point of being able to handle the things that are on your credit, you want to look at, these are all of my accounts. Now, how much money can I actually afford to pay these people every single month? Instead of looking at a monthly amount, I want you to begin to look at a bi-weekly or a weekly amount. Even if it's a small amount, even if it's $20 every single week, that's a total of $80 a month that you are showing good faith to your lender or creditor that you are willing to make some kind of a payment. So instead of going through this process of, oh well, I'm just going to let everything go, I can't worry about my credit right now, I'm just going to max everything out and I'm just not going to be in control. No, we have self-control, Constance.
Mhm.
We have self-control and we really need to step up to the plate and take responsibility back in our hands to say that yes, I can recover from this. I can bounce back from this. I don't need to have the attitude that I'm just going to let everything go and have to start over from scratch from a place that you really could recover from a lot more quickly if you would just take action. We have to be proactive with our credit.
Yes. I just want to say to the viewers, we are working on our technical problem here so they can hear you but they can't see you. But I don't want to stop your role because you are giving some good information. So we're just going to bear with our technical problems and we hope to get this squared away quickly. But I'm just going to keep going because you dropping too many nuggets. You're dropping too many nuggets for me to stop. Um, I wanted I want to ask you, what's the fastest, simplest actions um, federal folks can take? Hang on a second. Now let's see. Uh, in order to improve their credit during this financial hardship, and I know that you touched on a couple of them already, but give me a summary of what I can do.
So the summary is, like I said, let's write down what it is that we have. What are your
Mhm,
necessities? How
mhm,
can we analyze the things that have to be paid versus the things that don't have to be paid right now?
mhm,
Okay. So
mhm,
that's where we're going to start. Then once we build that process of getting in a routine to get back on course, to make sure that we are back in that system of, okay, this is still my responsibility. Let's really begin to analyze what things can we pay off, because
mhm,
sometimes there are bills that we can literally pay off or totally eliminate, so
mhm,
that we can take the money that we were paying towards that account to something that's more important. So
mhm,
that's where we want to really focus on, is what are your necessities versus the things that are not a necessity. And as it relates to credit, we always want to understand that we only want to pay in a bi-weekly or weekly option, because what happens is it allows us to pay off our debt sooner and also eliminate that interest rate. The
mhm,
interest rate is going to be charged over and over and over again, multiple times, if you're only paying once a month. And that interest rate begins to increase. The annual interest rate is going to increase every time you make a payment per 30 days, because that's how all contracts are set up. All
mhm,
credit runs in 30-day increments. So if we are focusing on making the payment more often, then we can pay off our debts, take the money that we have saved up from the payoff, and transfer it to another debt that may be more important, that may be a focal point of something that we could pay off, like a car note or a mortgage, something that would really help us in our financial portfolio of being able to,
mhm, mhm,
extend wealth eventually. That is the
mhm,
goal. And also, I want us to understand, one of the biggest takeaways is to understand that every time you get paid, just like on your paycheck, when you get paid on the job, there are three things that they take out automatically that are mandatory, two things that are mandatory, three things that they take out normally. The
mhm,
three things that they take out are taxes, insurance, and some type of savings. Those are mandatory, that comes out before you even get your money, okay? And
mhm,
so what we have to understand is that is a priority when it comes to us, especially those of us who are believers. We want to understand that the original training of finances starts with paying our taxes. What is our tithe? What is our offering? That is a form of taxation. God literally allows us to start the training processes with our finances by tithe and offering. So, are you giving? Are you a giver? Because if you are a great giver, you're going to receive. That is the principle of finances, whether you believe in God or not. Some people call it charity and some people call it tithe and offering. So, if the government literally takes out taxes for its government, then we need to understand God has a government also for us to adhere to the
mhm,
order of how we are to take care of our finances. So we
mhm,
take out our taxes, we take care of that first. Secondly, we need to understand that we got to take care of insurance, because if we lose our life or if we lose our health, those are the two most top important things that need to be protected. And if
mhm,
we don't have life insurance, if we don't have health insurance plans, then that is another way for us to fail financially.
mhm,
And then the third way is that we want to save money. There is money that we are supposed to set aside. Literally, we are supposed to save 10% for ourselves, just like we give 10% to God. So,
mhm,
when it comes to us and understanding the whole basic financial portfolio of all of it, is that our money is always divided into percentages. And if we can just begin to pay ourselves, even if it's just $10, every time you get a paycheck, every time you get some money coming in, just set aside that $10 and promise yourself that you're not going to use it. Then over time, you will build up a savings. You will build up some type of savings that you can transfer into a high yield savings account, an investment of some sort. And as a financial advisor, I can also help you with that. So y'all see the website on the screen. Go
yes.
ahead and click that, www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com, and we can help you with that as well as business.
Michelle, thank you so much. I've enjoyed this. And I know we had some technical problems, but you know what? In the end, it is the information that you provided that I think is going to help people so much. And I appreciate your time. And you were the first call I made and you held your hand up. You were like, I'm in. So
Yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate it.
Oh, you're most welcome. I'm so thankful to be here. I hope that everyone took away those nuggets, and make sure that you guys follow us at kb.michellegreen everywhere. We're all over Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads,
You're
the X,
all over.
everywhere. We're everywhere. So make sure you follow us. And you have a podcast, kb.michellegreen, as well as Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. So
Thank you so
listen
much.
in, join us. Thank you so much for having me. You have a good one.
Bye bye. So that was Michelle. I'm so happy that she was able to join us. But now listen, just because you have the information doesn't mean that you're going to, it doesn't mean that you just have the information. What I'm trying to say is you have the information. Now you have to implement action. You have to take action. And often we don't take action because of the blocks that we have. And so I invited Dr. Kimberly Walker to join us today because she knows all about money blocks. And when she first mentioned it to me, I thought, money blocks, what's that all about? So, Kimberly Walker is a psychiatrist. She has been in the business for decades, helping people in some of their most critical situations, alleviating stress and just, helping you get to the other side, right? That's what she has a passion for. So, Dr. Walker, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Let's see, we're going to get you off mute here. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yes, great. So I want you to talk about money blocks.
Okay. So money blocks or money mindset blocks, they are ideas, they are impressions that we have, often unconscious. But
Mhm,
basically, they get in the way of us taking care of finances, building prosperity, abundance. And a lot of our ideas uh, and limiting beliefs specifically, and Constance, you did mention that you work with limiting beliefs too. And
mhm,
limiting beliefs are ideas that we have that serve as barriers. So many of the beliefs that we have, they come from early experiences, our families of origin. Many of us have heard money doesn't grow on trees. So that's a common phrase that we've heard. And it's limiting if you think about it.
mhm,
And those of us who grew up in households of faith may have heard the scripture, 1 Timothy 6:10. The first half is the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil.
mhm,
Now that often gets twisted into the love of money is the root of all evil. So, of
mhm,
course, if we take that in, we may end up believing that there's something wrong with money,
mhm,
and it may really kind of work against us. We may even take on a
mhm.
mindset that it is more noble uh, to struggle and to be poor. So, some of these ideas, they really can kind of sit with us, and we may not be aware that it's keeping us from making the moves that we could make in order to be uh, more successful financially.
Yes, and I think for a lot of workers, particularly women, if we have a bad day, right? You know where I'm going with this. We have a bad day, so we're going to either mani petty it away, we're going to shop it away, and I think that may be a form, a money block. Would you say that?
Definitely
Mhm.
shopping therapy. So, I have in my work with folks, there are several money mindset blocks that that I have experienced, I have run into, and a common one is spending, um, accumulating in order to feel secure or in
Mhm,
order to make you feel better about yourself. So
mhm.
that unfortunately is a common one, which definitely gets in the way of accumulating wealth for sure.
Now, you said that a lot of this is subconscious, right? So, how do I get to the root of it, right? Because now I'm in a crisis. You know, a lot of people are being financially challenged right now, right? And so I'm not thinking about what my block is. I'm thinking about putting food on the table, right? That's where I'm going. But like I said earlier, even if you have the information that helps you, to get on stable financial ground. Sometimes we don't use it. How do I identify what my block is? And then how do I ease my way out of it?
Okay.
Or maybe not ease my way out of that, but you know what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
So I think if you're trying to identify if you have a block, you really have to be kind of introspective and look at, are there behaviors
Mm-hmm.
that you know you're engaging in
Mm-hmm.
that are getting in the way, and you have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you procrastinating? Balancing your checkbook.
Uh-huh.
So if there are behaviors that you engage in that are
Mm-hmm.
problematic, there's a good chance that there is a block associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that largely they are unconscious, but sometimes you know that there is something that's wrong in your thinking. So let's say that you recognize that maybe you aren't trying to get ahead because you may feel like it's not going to work out for me. Maybe you've had experiences where you've been excluded from opportunities. So there is
Mm-hmm.
some truth to that belief.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to think to yourself, okay, maybe this has happened in the past, but you have to challenge this belief.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's happened in the past, it does not mean that it's going to happen forever. So it's a matter of considering what you're thinking about, challenging what you're thinking about. And so for some folks, that may mean some journaling. For some folks, that may mean you've got to come up with something that is the opposite of that negative belief, whether it's an affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it may sound kind of trite, but you need to say it out loud and you need to repeat it to yourself because your mind believes what you say. So if you're talking to yourself negatively and talking negatively outside, that's what your mind takes in.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, if you can say, all right, I have a chance to make a difference in my life, I have a chance
Mm-hmm.
to put my foot forward, make some
Mm-hmm.
kind of statement about that, repeat it out
Mm-hmm.
loud over and over again. That helps to kind of get you moving in the right direction.
I know a lot of people think those affirmations are woo woo, right? It's woo woo. But your brain, it needs to get comfortable with it and know you're safe, right? If you go into this new kind of identity, this new territory, so to speak.
Yes. Yes.
One of the things that I want us to talk about, and we were going to talk about it a little later, but I want to bring it up now, is for a lot of people who are facing financial troubles right now, there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of guilt. I know I had a significant financial shutback in 2008, 2010 when I left TV news briefly and I went into real estate. And that's when the economy imploded. And everybody kept saying, oh no, the government will never let the real estate industry go down the tubes. And what happened? It went down the tubes, right? Uh, and so there was a lot of shame and a lot of guilt associated with that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think that it's important to realize that shame is about thinking shame is interesting because it really isn't it isn't accurate. It isn't real. Okay.
Mhm,
If
mhm,
you've had a negative experience, uh,
mhm,
the experience is real, but
mhm,
how you feel about yourself, if you are
mhm,
taking on beliefs like, I'm terrible, there's something
mhm,
wrong with me, again, it's
mhm,
about challenging what you are believing. And
mhm,
it's not it's not true that you're a terrible person because you had a financial setback. You've
mhm.
got to separate the experience from the value that you place on yourself.
I need you.
So that's one thing I
That's
want
it.
folks to take away from that. You are not your experience. You are
Okay, I'm going to
valuable.
talk to you.
God made you valuable,
Okay.
and that's not going to be diminished regardless of what your finances are like.
Yes, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure that people walked away from this workshop knowing is that you are not alone. And that's really critical because I think when you are in, when you're in a financial situation, you tend to hide. You don't want anybody to know how bad your situation is.
Mhm.
And so, I want people to know that they are not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to talk to you further, a little bit more about mindset and that sort of stuff and how we change our mindset in a little bit. So just hang with me for a second here and then we'll be
Okay.
right back to you. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Our next section is all about how do I stop the bleed? How do I make ends meet? And what do where can I go to get a job that doesn't require a long interview process and a long, you know, um, wait time and all that kind of stuff. And so now I'm going to switch and talk to the Nicole Johnson. And that's how she introduces herself. Now, she has been in this business for a long time. And let me tell you, she has walked the walk. Right. She's been there, done that. And she's a federal worker. So she knows what it's like to go 40 some days with no job. Um, she is a powerhouse. She is a powerhouse. And she has founded, first of all, she's a best selling Amazon author. And she has also founded um, Wealthy Women Lifestyle. I love that title. Um, so I want her to step on because she's gonna drop a lot of nuggets. So far, we've had Michelle Green dropping like crazy. Then we had Dr. Walker dropping like crazy. So now, come on, Nicole, this is your turn to drop like crazy. Oops, let's see. Hang on, I got Kimberly. Hang on, Kimberly. We are going to take you out. Stand by. Let me, y'all know that technically I'm challenged, right? Okay. So I'm gonna, yeah, now we're cooked. Oh, add to stay. Hang on. Whoop! Touchdown. We are just rocking and rolling today. Um, okay. Nicole, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell everybody. A couple of days ago, Nicole took me through this exercise of what's a priority, and let's go through and see where your money is leaking. And let me tell you, that wasn't funny. You know how they say your money's funny? That was not funny.
She was
Nicole.
mad at me, y'all. She was mad at me. Go on, tell me. She was mad at me.
So Nicole, all right, bring your expertise here. I want to know, you are known for making money simple. You break it down. And so I want you to tell um federal workers, right? But this workshop is really open to anybody who is facing financial challenges. I want you to break it down for them like what you need to do.
Listen, so I'm glad to be a part of this workshop with you, Constance. So thank you for having me. So money, it is the thing you need.
Mhm,
As Dr. Kimberly said, it is not the root of all evil. It's the love of it, right?
mhm,
Because we do need money, but something that Kimberly said, the lady before her, what she
mhm,
said, Miss
mhm,
Michelle. She
Mhm.
said a lot of people are accumulating debt during the holiday season. And what I talk to my community about is this is a time where there are actually work from home opportunities that will allow
Mhm.
you to accumulate income. So
Mhm.
when January comes, while people are looking at credit card statements going, man, I didn't realize I accumulated this much debt. You can be looking at your bank statement saying, wow, look how much money I earned during the holiday season. So
Mhm.
it is definitely a shift in the mindset, and I teach people just how to do it. Something as simple as mystery shopping, and mystery shopping has been around for years and years. So anybody from Chicago, I'm about to age myself, but don't focus on that. Pay attention to the lesson at hand, okay? There was a store on downtown Chicago on State Street called Three Sisters. If you remember that store called Three Sisters, that was my first experience with a mystery shopper because I was working in that store. And the lady behind the register, we just got mystery shop. And she had an envelope that was about this thick with all these papers in here, but she never saw who dropped the envelope. Okay. And so what is mystery shopping? It is undercover boss on steroids. It really is. It's a way that companies hire people as independent contractors to go out into their businesses and make sure that the employees are doing what they're trained to do. You don't have to know a whole lot. And honestly, Constance, people can log into or register on websites today and be mystery shopping tomorrow. So that's how easy it is.
A lot of people get these text messages that tell you you can make. I recently got one that said you can make $5,000 in 2 hours. Well, where I sign up, right? Right?
No, no, you
Where,
did no.
where do I
Don't do
sign
that.
up?
That
And
sounds like Uncle Clifford at the illegal paint. We don't want to go there. We don't go
absolutely, if it sounds too good to be true,
there. And it is
it's not
and
true.
it is.
Absolutely. So I know that you said, a lot of us think that those jobs are scams, right? They because the legit places don't seem to be out here
They're
recruiting.
not.
So talk
They're
about
not.
how do I find these? How
So
do I
there
find these
are
places?
hundreds of mystery shopping companies out there.
Mhm.
Um, there is an actual site that people can go to, and it has hundreds of sites listed, but you have to vet each one by one. So, what
Mhm.
I do is to help them bypass all of that confusion, and I provide them with a list of 5 or 6 that I
Mhm.
know work. And
Mhm.
the reason that I know they work is, as you said, I've walked the walk. I started as a mystery shopper before the pandemic hit.
Mhm.
Okay. And it helped bring income in my house, not because I was in a struggle zone, but because I wanted to relieve some financial tension. I
Mhm.
wanted to give some, I wanted to pay off some things. And my grandmother used to say, well, Nikki, grandma on a fixed income. When I became an adult, I had to call it back. Grandma, everybody on a fixed income. They look the same every 2 weeks unless they offer us overtime. So everybody income is fixed. But understanding that that money was the same and it was just based on overtime, that I could have something extra or get a part-time job. I am not a fan of a part-time job because it has an expense with it.
Mhm.
It Time is our most valuable commodity. So
Mhm.
a part-time job causes us to spend more time away from home. And as a single mom, that is not what I was looking for. It
Mhm.
costs gas, you might want to eat. And by the time you get home, all you have time to do is kiss who's ever in your household and go to get ready and go to bed. That's
Right.
it. That
Right.
was not my life. We are not built to work, pay bills, and die. That's not
Mhm.
the life I wanted.
Mhm.
So mystery shopping is something that I can control. So if
Mhm.
my kids were going to be gone visiting friends, well, that meant that Saturday, mama could get out and do some work. And I
Mhm.
could spend 5 or 6 hours doing it and make a few $100s.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
so I continue with that pattern. But then I got tired of going out to do mystery shopping because listen, it takes dedication and commitment. And I was committed to getting that debt paid off. But
Mhm.
what else could I do to replace that? So
Mhm.
with my reputation with these companies, I reached out to one that I'd done a lot of work for. And I asked my scheduler, I said, listen, can you tell me how to do what you do? She said, well, that's funny you asked. We're looking for some schedulers. Okay. So she connected me with her supervisor. Now I'm scheduling mystery shops, which means I'm now working from home. I don't have to go out and do the shops. I'm helping other people get their shops set up.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
that money looked different.
Mhm.
Okay. So at 10 o'clock at night, I was sitting on a computer helping people get mystery shops scheduled. And what I'm watching them make, because some shops pay greater than the other, I'm
Mhm.
watching them earn $1,500, $2,000 a month
Mhm.
because of the scheduling system that they put in place,
Mhm.
and I'm taking notes. So this is my way of making sure that I can bring in extra money from home. And then I ventured into call centers. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just make $3,500 this month at the
Wow.
call sitting here like this? Wait a minute now. You hold on. Hello, thank you. How can I help you? And I what? Connie, when I tell you people don't believe, now there are more scams out there that people get, right?
Mhm.
So that's why
Mhm.
they are leery. So what I've done is I've created a database. You don't need 17 or 18 different places. You just need 5 good ones and a
Mhm.
good strategy. And I am all about strategy. For example, my nursing student said, Miss Nicole, my tuition and went up $400 a month. And I don't know how I'm gonna pay it. Baby, jump in Zoom, let mama show you. Share my screen. I say, you see this, and this? Yes,
Mhm.
that's 100, 100, 100, 95. There go your $400 right there. You got five on it, put five on it, and there go your 400. And you know what? Since you don't have clinicals next week, let's go ahead and schedule 100, 100, 100. That one is 100. So you got an even 400. Now you got the next month paid. And we did that for 3 weeks. She paid up 3 months of tuition in 3 weeks.
Wow. So what is the mindset that you have to go through? Because I know a lot of people don't want to do that kind of work.
They
Not
don't.
that it's anything wrong with it, but they just you tell me because you hear people talk about
So, okay. So don't get mad at me when I say this, okay? Don't get mad. Don't throw no rocks at the TV or anything like that. All right.
it.
Folks get complacent,
Mm,
right? Connie, if my job says I have to be at work at 9 o'clock and I can get off at 5 o'clock,
mhm,
that's what I'm going to do, because I know that on that every Friday or every other Friday or the first and the 15th, it's a deposit that's going to hit my account.
mhm,
But when it comes to mystery shopping, you're an independent contractor. And if you don't have that mindset and that determination,
mhm,
you won't keep, you won't make it happen.
mhm,
So
mhm,
what I tell them when I start working with them, I ask them first of all, why? Why
mhm,
do you want to do this? Why do you want to bring this income in? Because that income has to have a destination. For example,
mhm,
a lot of us like to go traveling, go on a cruise. Okay, that cruise costs $1,500. Can I mystery shop and save that $1,500 and pay it in full? Yes, you can. So
mhm,
it depends on how dedicated you are. I have a young lady who's a single mom. She's got 3 kids. She picks up all of the food shops in her area because there are restaurants that do this frequently, and you can do them like if with one particular shop, you can do it every 2 weeks, every 14, every 15 days, every 30 days, whatever the criteria is. But let me tell you what the goal is. She's tired, she worked all day, and she don't feel like cooking. So she will hit 4 different restaurants, okay, and she's paying. But listen to the listen to the strategy. She feeds 3 children and herself, all within a 5 mile radius of her home. She goes home, they're happy, she's happy, and now she's going to upload her receipts and her report. And not only is she going to be reimbursed for every meal, she's still going to get a stipend. That stipend is going to cover the gas in within a 5 mile radius. She didn't use all the money that she made from the stipend for gas. So there's her extra income.
Now, I already got a question. People were like, how do I find out this information? And, when we first talked, I was like, how do I find out this information? So, and I know that you have a variety of things going on. And folks, let me just say, because I said in the beginning that this is no bluff, no fluff, no BS, and no selling, and we're not trying to sell. I promise you. The information that Nicole is getting ready to give you, this is about helping you get on firm financial ground and to give you ideas and information that you may not have known. So this is not a hard sell when she tells you, but people are like, I need to know this information, Nicole. You need to cough it up.
That's how I felt. And let me say, I'm going to share my site where they can go and get the information. Because let me say this, there are people that are going to tell you the what. I just told you the what. I'm going to also train you on the how. That's the difference. I can tell you right now, 5 sites. Go register with these sites. And if you think you can figure it out, listen, do that. But if you need the extra assistance, that's when you start talking to me about how I can train you, how I can teach you. Because everybody doesn't have a background in learning how to type and talk. Everybody doesn't have the mindset. I don't mind that you don't really understand what the mindset behind it is, but I can help you. That
Mm-hmm.
so the lady who was that Dr. Kimberly
Mm-hmm.
up here on in that that second shelf right that way, that right there, that is my affirmation container. So when things aren't going right, when I'm not feeling good, I go over there and look at the notes that I took and
Mm-hmm.
wrote down to myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to say this. When I was my daughter was a freshman in high school. I'm sorry, a junior in high school. My son was a 7th grader. I was in law school 3 nights a week or 2 nights and 1 Saturday. I
Mm-hmm.
enrolled in grad school online in the last year and a half of law school to get my master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
I had just started my business. And I was the president of the law fraternity, and I pledged the best sorority this side of heaven. Okay. I'm not sure about the other organizations, but I can tell you the best sorority. See that lipstick that I'm wearing, that best sorority this side of heaven.
I wonder
All
what
at
sorority that is.
don't make me start ooping around here. Don't make me start ooping around here. Y'all know what it is. But so when I say time crunched, you can't tell me, Nicole, I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you that you don't have dedication, but I can help you start to shift that, because when we start writing down these bills, okay, when we start writing out what your financial plan looks like, can an extra $200 a week or extra $2,000 a month shift that landscape? You want to pay off those credit cards. You want to build that savings. The lady came to me, she was almost near retirement, had never saved in her life, gave me 3 years to work with her, and she retired from the very federal agency I worked for, because that's where I met her. She retired debt free. My client used mystery shopping and call centers to pay off $75,000 worth of debt in 15 months. This is no joke. But if your mindset is not in place, all you're doing is wasting your time and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to share with your community where my Facebook group is. I'm going to give them 2 ways to connect with me.
Okay.
One, and I'm putting it in the comments. I did
Okay.
follow
Great.
up, so hopefully it shows up there. But if not, Connie, it
Um,
is my school platform, and it's called Prosperity Base Camp on School.
let's see.
It's
Okay.
Prosperity Base Camp on School.
And
Okay.
also, what I'm going to do is follow up with everybody who attended this workshop. I'll send you a follow-up email with everybody's contact information and stuff, but go ahead and give it to them now.
Okay. And so it looks like it's not showing up. I put it in the, but it's not showing. If I put it in the private chat, Connie, can you copy it
Maybe
from
so.
there?
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah,
Let's put
but
it.
I'll put it there. But worst
Okay.
case scenario, you can go to school and search Prosperity Base Camp. On
But it's
Facebook, it's
SK,
called the
but it's SK.
OOL.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and on Facebook, if you find me, you can find me at the Wealthy Women Lifestyle. And I've got the picture up there with the purple hair. You can't miss it. So it
Yeah.
is, and I'm actually on YouTube at the Nicole Johnson TV. What if you go to YouTube where we are now is the Nicole Johnson TV. I have tons of stuff where I talk about mystery shopping, how it's beneficial, and how you can get started. I don't have
Yeah.
to gatekeep. My personal goal is to ensure that people know how to bring in extra money because I'll tell you 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 12 days a week, 190 days a month, whatever it is, these jobs ain't loyal and they will pick profits over people every time. So create something that has just your name on it.
Hmm.
Um, do you have limitations on mystery shopping? Do you have to pay for to be a mystery shopper? Those are some of the questions that people ask. And there are some certifications that you can pay for, but you don't have to. You can do all of the basics for free. I'll tell you some of the things that I've done. I've had when I was in Birmingham, my I did a mystery shop. They cleaned my carpet. You know how much it costs to get carpet clean. And I'm talking the bed, 3 bedrooms, the living room, and the hallways, and the dining room. Cleaned all of those. You know how much it cost me? $50. And they reimbursed me that $50 and paid me a $200 stipend.
Wow.
Ma'am. Okay. So can I make a living with mystery shopping or call center work? You
Hmm.
can, but everything rests on your shoulders. So we have to have the mindset to always bet on ourselves. And
Hmm.
what the first thing that I'm going to tell you is work on, we're going to work on mindset
Yes.
because
Yes.
it kind of you know that if I say Connie, you can be at work anytime between 6 and 9. One day you might be there at 6. The next time you might be there at 8:30. It's going to vary. But if I say Connie, just get there when you want to, the
Yes.
question is am I coming?
Right.
That's the question. Am I coming?
Right.
And so, Mr. Those things are you have to be super dedicated to your mission.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you are not dedicated to your mission, mystery shopping is going to bypass you and you're going to miss out.
Nicole, I look at you sipping your drink there.
I'm tasting the tea.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you're not kidding. Hey, listen, I thank you so much. I always enjoy talking to you because you are just dropping it like crazy. And I know people want this information. I know I'm going to follow up because, when I met you and you started reeling off all these stories, I was like, where do I sign up? How do I sign up here? And it's all about mindset. And we're going to go back to Dr. Kimberly Walker to talk about mindset because it really is everything. How you think you're going to be, how you think you are, your identity, that's the way you're going to behave. And I don't think people give that enough credit. I
I
don't think
don't.
people realize that they can decide who they want to be and then take action. So thank you so much. And I'm going to follow up and make sure I get all the information, and then we're going to go from there.
Thank you for having me. I'll leave your audience with this. Don't
Okay.
fake it till you make it. I want you to see yourself where you want to be so you know how to act when you get there.
All right, Nicole. Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.
And like I said, I want to go back to Dr. Walker because, like I said, mindset is everything. And if you how you think is how you're going to go. So, Dr. Walker, pick it up from there.
Okay. I had started to talk a little bit about some limiting beliefs that we have around money and around mindset. And I said that some of us really aren't aware of the ideas, the beliefs we have that are running our lives. And I wanted to talk about a couple more of the money blocks that many of us have. So, many of us, believe it or not, believe we don't deserve wealth.
Mm,
And that kind of comes from maybe
mm-hmm.
feeling like we are not enough. And that limiting belief can get internalized from early experiences that we've had. Another money block is just negative ideas about money itself, negative ideas about rich people, you know, feeling like rich people are greedy. And, people can be greedy, but there are also a lot of very generous rich people out there. Some people are concerned that if they get wealthy, they might be excluded from their communities or feel like they're a sellout. And so that can subtly affect the moves that we're making.
Mm-hmm.
And I already mentioned feeling like you have to spend, you have to accumulate to feel good about yourself. So, our mindset, I feel like our mindset, I don't know that it's everything, but it is a large, large proponent of how we operate in the world. So, it's important to consider what do I believe about myself? And again, are those beliefs true or not? I think that in the position that people find themselves in, burnout is certainly a risk. And I became burned out myself in 2021 as a psychiatrist. And what I discovered was that I had a limiting belief of feeling like I wasn't enough from an early childhood experience. And feeling like I wasn't enough, that kind of drove my tendency to work and work and work. Because if you feel like you're not enough, you can never do enough, which fueled the burnout. So it's just really important to think about what are the actions that you're taking, and does it make sense what you're doing? I had mentioned challenging beliefs, and that can be very effective. But you have to have awareness. You have to be curious about the things that you're doing.
Absolutely. I remember talking to a general manager at a TV station, and he said, and I was in the process of buying a house, and he said, if your house payment doesn't hurt you a little bit, then you don't have enough house. And, that just kind of, that was basically saying, you need to buy right up to the maximum that you can afford. And that really stuck to me because I remember thinking, well, I'm getting a little townhouse. I'm proud of my little townhouse. But when he said that, I thought, well, I deserve a bigger house, and then a bigger house and then a bigger house, and so that mindset kind of sticks with you, and you think, well, I do need that Louis Vuitton bag. I do need that stuff, and I think it wasn't until I hit a crisis did I realize that none of it mattered. None of it was able to help me in my crisis, right? So my mindset had to change. And my mindset, since I've retired and gone into being an entrepreneur, my mindset has shifted about what is success. what does success look like, right? Because
Mhm.
we were told growing up it was the X number of kids, it was the house in the suburbs, it was, it was all of that. And that rolls into how we treat money and how
Mhm.
we spend money.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, I mean, and the paradigms have been flipped. I
Hmm.
remember being told, yes, buy as much house as you can,
Yes,
buy
yes.
more house than you can. And that was
Hmm.
never, that wasn't comfortable for me. And happily, we didn't do that. But, when that housing bubble hit, we were
Yes,
glad that we didn't do that because,
absolutely.
yeah.
Because it was crazy out there. Everybody was buying to their maximum. Everybody
Mhm.
was, they were, they just had this mindset that I had to have. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
but thank you for that, and I appreciate what you said in the beginning about uh, even though it's a holiday season, that doesn't mean you go spend, spend, spend. Because there was I don't know if it was a study or a report, a TV report I saw. Oh, I know, it was Jamal Bryan out of Atlanta. He went up to kids, right? He showed this little clip in it. He asked the kids, "Hey, what did you get last year?" Right? The kid couldn't remember, like repeatedly.
Mhm.
But if the family gave an experience, the kid remembered it. I remember that Christmas when we did blah 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 together,
Mhm.
not whatever the gift was, whatever the physical gift was. They didn't remember that. And they swear up and down, I gotta have the new this and the new that. But when push comes to shove, they really don't. They remember the times when they were with you or spending time with an experience they had. And so I think people need to go into the holiday season with that thought in mind.
Mhm. Yeah, we have to resist the knee-jerk reaction, and we have to really look at what are we doing. Don't
Yes.
just unconsciously go about doing what you've always done or what you think needs to happen. Really take the time to
Hmm.
think about what you're doing
Hmm.
and it's going to really work for you.
Well, Dr. Walker, thank you very much. I appreciate your expertise. I always love talking to you because you kind of give me a calm, approach. I always come to you with the Nicole. Nicole's on steroids, right? She's spitting nuggets, but she's on steroids, and so I feel like you have a calming effect, and I can see why you're so successful with your clients and things. So, thank
Well,
you very much. I think you've helped people not feel judged, because they're facing a financial crisis. So, thank you very, thank you very much.
my pleasure. Thank you.
I'll see you. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Um, so we want to close out with what to do physically. How do I take care of myself physically, um, emotionally when I'm going through a crisis? And the one thing that we don't do is we don't take care of ourselves. We don't drink enough water. We don't get enough exercise. We don't do any of that stuff. We tend to hunker down, and that's the worst thing that you could do. So I asked my friend um, Deidre Harris, who is a yoga instructor, to join me today. Because I wanted her to show us some things that we can do, some simple movements that we can do at our desk to help relieve stress and anxiety. So, Deidre, first of all, in your practice, people are coming in with what? Shoulder, neck? What's happening? Where is the stress kind of dominating? Oops, hang on, let me get you. Here we go. There you go.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Hello. So everyone's an individual, but a lot of people, especially if you have a desk job, will hold a lot of stress in their shoulders and in their lower back and in their necks. So what I wanted to show you today were a few things that you can do from your seat. You don't need a mat. You don't need to even get up and do anything special. And you can just work on your body right at your desk. So, the first thing I would suggest is doing a body scan periodically throughout your day. Scan your body from head to toe. just to see how you're feeling. What is your brain doing? Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I stressed? Am I relaxed? And then go from there. And what's your physical body doing? And this is not to judge anything or even change anything at this point. You just want to see how you're feeling. So, what's my face doing? Am I frowning? Is my jaw clenched? Because that's another place where people will hold a lot of stress. You're clenching your teeth and you don't even realize it. Is my neck tight? Do I need to do some neck movement to relax my neck? How about your shoulders? Are your shoulders tight? Do some shoulder rolls. Is my mouth dry? Do I need to get a drink of water? Am I hungry? These are all things. Just go through your body periodically to see how you feel. Because when you are working hard and focusing on everything but yourself, you forget to do the little things that are important that will make you feel better and keep your body healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
another thing, if you're bent over your computer all day, your shoulders will get tight and they may even start to hurt. So something else you can do is interlace your fingers and just bring your arms up overhead. This is something that is people are familiar with this pose. You bring your shoulders up and breathe in deeply and exhale. Do this a couple times and you will immediately feel your shoulders relax and remove that stress from sitting in this position. So that's a good position, a good posture to do periodically throughout the day. Another thing is a seated forward fold. And this might seem a little odd, but you would sit forward on your chair. So instead of standing up, you're going to just do a forward fold. You're going to lay over your legs. Your belly, your chest are laying on your thighs. Your hands are just dangling to the side. Your head is hanging loosely. You can shake it yes and no. And you're letting gravity take over. And you are just relaxing your body over your legs. If that's not enough room, open your legs a little wider and lean over if this is comfortable for you. That is a very relaxing pose because you have just increased the circulation, the blood circulation to your brain. So it's somewhat of an inversion. Like inversion poses are headstand, downward dog. So you've increased the circulation to your brain. That means you've energized your body and you've just relaxed your body in that few seconds. So that's a nice pose to do throughout the day. If you have an opportunity, just do a seated forward fold and lay over your legs. Another pose, because our hips hold a lot of stress, if you're sitting for long periods of time, your hips get very tight. And you'll realize that when you get up to walk and you're feeling pain in your lower back and your hips and your legs, your knees, that's because your hips are tight. And we need to relax our hips. So one way to do that is to bring your ankle up over your knee and just sit like this. This right now is relaxing your hips. Now, if you need a little more of a stretch, just lean forward and you'll feel more of a stretch. So you lean forward as far as you can go that's comfortable for you. If bringing your leg up over your knee is not comfortable, then just cross your ankles and press down on that knee that's pushed out, and you'll feel that same sensation of stretching out your hips. The hips and your legs are attached to that psoas muscle that goes across your lower back. And that muscle holds a lot of stress. So that's why they say you hold a lot of stress in your hips. It's that muscle, because that muscle will tighten not only from physical stress, but also from emotional stress. It's something like, your heart beats faster, things like that. Your psoas muscle tightens up when you're stressed. So that's why when you go on vacation and you're relaxed, your lower back stops hurting because it's no longer stressed. So keeping that in mind, that seated pigeon pose, you do that on both legs. Bring your ankle over your knee, and then just leaning forward. And then the last pose I wanted to show you is a seated side stretch, where you're going to or side twist, where you're just twisting. So you're going to sit forward on your seat, place your hand behind you, use the opposite hand to hold onto your leg or your knee, and just twist. And look over your shoulder, inhaling and exhaling. As you exhale, maybe twist a little further. Now, if you can't look over your shoulder yet, then just maybe look to the side. Just something to twist your body a little more than what you have been doing. because yoga is a very gentle practice. And what you'll find is the changes are very subtle. So suddenly you can twist all the way back. And
Mhm.
it just happens all of a sudden where actually it's just a very gradual and subtle change in your body. So
I
those,
love those exercises because, like you said, they're very easy to do. You don't
yes.
have to leave your desk, and because a lot of people are like, I don't want to go out, I don't want to, do all that. But those are great moves. Do you have another one for us?
Well, there's another one, a breathing exercise. And this
Go
is
ahead.
something like if you're sitting in traffic or you're
Hmm.
in a meeting and you're stressing,
Hmm.
you can just breathe. There's 4-4-6 breathing. That's one. There's many breathing exercises that you can do
Hmm.
to relax your nervous system. The
Hmm.
deep breathing relaxes your nervous system. The 4-4-6 goes inhaling for the count of four, hold
Hmm.
for the count of four, and then exhale to the count of six. So you would inhale 4, 3, 2, 1, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, then
Hmm.
exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then repeat that 5 or 10 times. That's something you can do. No one knows you're doing it. If you're in a meeting, you're stressing, and then you'll calm your nervous system, and it's also distracting you from whatever's causing you the stress because now you're focusing on your breathing, and that
Hmm.
gives you a little break in that stress, calms you down, and maybe helps you to perform or think better moving forward. So
Hmm.
those are just a few of the many poses that are available. And
Hmm.
then there's a beautiful affirmation that I remind people of. It's I am unique, beautiful, and amazing, just the way I am. I am enough. I know Dr. Walker mentioned not feeling like you're enough. And that I am enough is like a movement. It's a movement for self love. So if you Google I am enough, all kinds of literature and videos and poems and things come up referring to that and just things that promote self love.
Did
So
you give us that affirmation again?
I am unique, beautiful, and amazing, just the way I am. I am enough.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah,
Love it. And again, as I said with Dr. Walker, I don't think people give affirmations their due, right?
right,
Because we think it's woo woo and you're just going to talk your way into whatever. But really, once you start introducing that in your mind, then your subconscious, it gets into your subconscious. And psychiatrists say that your subconscious dictates 95% of your behaviors and
right,
your habits and things. And
right.
so I always tell my clients to do affirmations,
Mhm.
whatever it is that they're, hoping for, to do affirmations, but also to follow it up with action. Don't just, say I am beautiful. Look yourself in the mirror. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
look at your face, look at your body and tell yourself that you are beautiful and that you have gratitude for what it's done for you, right?
Right.
So
That should
I
be a part of
appreciate
your morning routine. That affirmation while you're brushing your teeth, and you say
that.
that affirmation and say, athletes do that a lot. They,
Yes.
whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, and you'll see them
Mhm,
going on before the game or,
mhm,
their turn. They're
mhm,
doing those positive affirmation, positive self-talk to
mhm.
get them from where they are to where they need to be.
Absolutely. And
Right.
visualization of, this is how I look, this is how I'm gonna, conduct myself, And as a matter of fact, I did it this morning, in preparation for this workshop. I was like, you know what, no matter what happens, right, my intention was
Right.
to provide a service, right? And so when you set your intention and you have a good mindset, then you almost become unstoppable. So thank you very much for reminding us, and thank you for those techniques, because I think those are real easy for people to remember.
Absolutely.
And one of the viewers, Donna Knudsen, said, I need to remember to stretch my hips, right? Because that's a place.
And that's the
And
same
then,
thing at night when you get in the bed, put the soles of your feet together and just butterfly your legs.
mhm,
Stretch
mhm,
your hips at night before you go to sleep. It's very
mhm. And we forget to do all of that. We forget to breathe, and that sounds really weird to say, but we do forget to breathe properly so that we get it down into our,
Yes.
right. It's chest breathing. We don't get it down in our belly and bring it up and shoulders back and all of that. We just don't do that. So thank you very much for those reminders. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you joining in today. You were one of the first people I talked to about this, and you were like, sign me up, coach. So I appreciate that. Now, are you doing some yoga? Are you getting ready to do some yoga online?
I do an online class on Fridays. Mostly
Okay.
it's just for my family right now. I'm working on bringing up a website, and there'll be a calendar on there so people can come and schedule. So once that comes up, and it should be up in the next few days,
Oh, great.
I will share that with you.
Yes, please do. Because what I intend to do is create a whole email to everyone who was able to participate and make sure they have all of the contact information of the folks who joined me today. So make sure that I get that information and we'll get it out to
Great.
everyone. Thank
Great.
you again. Happy holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays. My pleasure.
So that wraps us up, 12:25. That wraps us up for today. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have. I think everyone came with an open heart, and their intention was to provide a service to anyone out there who is facing a financial crisis. As I said, I'm going to send out all of the contact information of all of our guests so that you will have that in case you want to reach out or follow up with them, because I think that they had a lot more information that they didn't, give out today, but they can share with you and help you through this season. If you walk away with one thing today, I hope that one thing is that you are not alone, that there are a lot of people who want to help you and can help you if you are in a financial crisis. You didn't create the situation, but now the situation is at your doorstep. And the information that we provided today will help you deal with that information. It'll help you go from instability to stability. Go from your setback to your stability and build a firm financial ground. So please let me know what you thought of today's workshop. I would love to hear it. And I would love to do it again if it's needed. But again, remember that you are not alone and there are people who want to help you. I hope you have a happy holiday season. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.